Today we'll be going through the character build of the Freedom Fighter, a half-elf that enjoys challenging dastardly fellows and liberating the poor and downtrodden from tyrannical leaders. Hi, I'm Yovo and I'll be going through the core features of the build and discuss the decisions why they're chosen. We are starting with a half-elf, and our first level feat is Atavism, unlocking the Wood Elf ancestry. This grants us bonuses when attempting to climb trees, vines, and other foliages, as well as take cover within spaces of the forest. Supernatural Charm at 5th level grants us the ability to use the Charm spell once per day. The Freedom Fighter will use this ability to woo onlookers or defuse confrontations before they turn into combat. Pinch Time at 9th level allows the Freedom Fighter to cast haste on themselves once per day. This would grant them an edge when challenging another to duel with multiple strikes before landing a finisher. Liberating those who are powerless and at the mercy of others, the Freedom Fighter worked tirelessly to stop corruption and wrongdoing in their local area. Over time, they gained notoriety as a vigilante, and in turn, bandits and marauders started to fear their name. In time, they accumulated enough recognition that they were considered a second mark of the Firebrands. Malani, the goddess of hope, devotion, and uprisings. Those devoted to her found courage to fight against oppression and suffering. The Freedom Fighter felt it was necessary, whether it was due to the extended lifespan or living in the turbulent area, to directly interfere for the sake of peace. Our Freedom Fighter's base class is Swashbuckler. We are going with the Braggart style, which grants us panache when we successfully demoralize an enemy. The Freedom Fighter will attempt to demoralize their foe using their fame and renown to intimidate would-be criminals. Your next reaction grants the Freedom Fighter an attempt to demoralize another target after successfully bringing a creature down. This helps with the action economy by reducing actions attempting to gain panache. Dueling Parry requires an action to gain a bonus to AC each round. This drains our action economy, but it is a prerequisite for the Dueling Dance feat available at level 10. Antagonize sustains a frightened condition on targets, especially if the Freedom Fighter is out of range. Stunning Finisher has the potential to cause the stun condition on the target. Removing their actions will hamper the foe's capacity to fight back in combat, especially if it was a critical failure. The Dueling Dance stance allows the Freedom Fighter to gain the bonus of the Dueling Parry for the rest of the combat. Cheat Death grants added excitement and flair to the Freedom Fighter, especially if they were challenging a bandit boss to a duel. If a strike doesn't outright kill the Freedom Fighter, they would remain standing and attempt to clutch victory. Deadly Grace adds an extra deadly die to weapons that have this feature, or an additional D8 to weapons who don't have the trait. And lastly, Parry and Riposte. This improves the opportune riposte by changing the trigger condition from a critical failed attack to a failed attack to add insult to injury. We are going with the Firebrand's Braggart dedication. This dedication grants an action to boast about completing a particular skill action. On a success, the Freedom Fighter gains a bonus for the same skill action for the next 10 minutes. Boaster's Challenge grants bonus damage depending on the proficiency of the Diplomacy, Deception, or Intimidation check. This action does not have the mental trait, which would possibly affect mindless creatures. Demanding Challenge enhances the Boaster's Challenge, where the target of the challenge suffers a penalty to their attack rolls depending on whether the Freedom Fighter's boast was a success or critical success. And here we have our stat spread. We are focusing on dexterity, but will be putting points into charisma to boost our intimidation attempts. And here is our feat progression as well. With the skills, we are focusing on acrobatics and intimidation. Acrobatics is important as it allows a Freedom Fighter to use a tumble-through action to gain panache if in the event they were fighting mindless creatures. Intimidation will be used for the demoralize action and boasts challenge on mindless creatures. Intimidating glare will change the demoralize auditory tag to a visual tag, removing the penalty if the creature does not understand the language of the freedom fighter. Terrifying resistance will aid the freedom fighter, reduce the effectiveness of spellcasters who are subjected to the frightened condition. And Battlecry will grant a free attempt to demoralize at the start of combat. In addition, at Legendary Intimidation, a free demoralize is available with every critical strike. With equipment, we are going with the short sword as our main weapon. We are using a one-handed weapon and keeping our other hand free to gain the benefits of dueling parry. Dueling Grace will grant the short sword a deadly D8 on critical hits as well. The Fearsome rune grants a frightened condition on critical hits. This rune supports the freedom fighter if the demoralize action failed, and they haven't reached level 9 where the exemplary finisher removes the immunity. We are going with the Explorer's Clothing as we will start with a high dexterity score, which will become limited when we've reached the dexterity cap. The Demon Mask will be also taken to grant an item bonus to our intimidation check. And likewise, the Boots of Elvenkind grants an item bonus to acrobatic checks. The two certain ways the freedom fighter will gain panache is by using the tumble through and demoralize actions. As they are a daring Braggart of the Firebrands, they would also do daring movements to entertain onlookers and change the tone of the battlefield. The freedom fighter would use the boss's challenge and direct it at the leader or the strongest foe in attempts to have a one-on-one duel. Ideally, the freedom fighter would be able to take down their opponents by reducing their combat capabilities with stunning finisher and the debuff from demanding challenge. Additionally, with only one target, parry and riposte would be more effective. And here we have all the feats, skills, and equipment discussed in today's video. We also have character sheets in the description box below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the freedom fighter below. Till next time.